Alright, so lesson 6.3, we're going to start solving quadratics by factoring. The last couple lessons we've been solving them by graphing them and trying to figure out where the graph crosses the x-axis. Obviously that gets a little tedious here and there. Another method of solving quadratic equations is by factoring them. Before we get started on that, I guess we kind of need to have an idea of what the zero product property means. And that pretty much fits right into the idea of solving by factoring. So, well, let's just kind of start off with a quick example. Let's say that I had x squared equals negative 4x, and I wanted to solve this equation by factoring. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the 4x to the other side, and I end up getting 4x equals 0. So I want to get 0 to one side. That's kind of your main goal to do. And then factor it. Obviously, in this particular case, I don't have like a trinomial or nothing. I just have two terms. So I can factor out like a GCF or a common factor and split this up like this. So I get this situation. And then this is where the zero product property comes in. Okay? Obviously, I have a product of this times this, and then that product equals 0. So, to make this true, I have two possible scenarios. I could have x equals 0. This x value could equal 0, or x plus 4 could equal 0. So in that case, my two possible solutions for this situation then is x equals 0 or x equals negative 4. And that's the idea of the zero product property. You set your factors equal to 0. Since your equation is equal to 0, then this is what has to happen. Okay? That's kind of a simple example. Let's see if we can't move on to a little more difficult one. All right, similar instructions. Okay, similar goal here. I want to solve this by factoring. Let's see if we can't do that. First goal would be to take the equation and set it equal to 0 or get 0 to one side. So I'm going to subtract both these terms to the left. Notice I just get 0 to the right. Okay. Now, my idea then is factor the left side. Okay. Factor the left side. Well, it's a trinomial. Let's see if it won't factor into two binomial factors. Since 3 is prime, really the only way I can split that term up would be 3x and x. 2 is also prime, so really, I only have a choice here as being positive 1 and negative 2, or negative 1, positive 2. I only put 1 and 2 in here in some particular order, and one's got to be positive, one's got to be negative. I do need a middle term of negative 5, so if I look at this right here, I'm looking at my outside terms as being negative 6x, and my inside terms being positive 1x, and then combining them, I get a negative 5x. Okay, that's just practice on factoring. That's how I get to be that quick, I guess. And you guys all should know the long method of factoring. So there's that. So we factored it. And now we're going to kick in the zero product property. So that means I take each factor and I set it, so this factor could equal 0, or x minus 2 could equal 0, either one of these factors could be 0. Solve each individual situation here. I end up getting x equals negative 1/3, or x is equal to 2. Any questions on that? All right, well, one more. I have x squared minus 6x is equal to, this is supposed to be negative 9. Negative 9. Okay? Again, I want to solve by factoring. Solve by factoring. What's the first thing I need to do here?
Add your 9 over so you have it equaling 0.
Yeah, my goal is to have the equation equaling 0. So add the 9 over, I get it to 0. So that's pretty much your first goal. Okay, second goal. Once you get this far, then you what? Factor, right? So I have a trinomial here, quadratic trinomial. So I should be able to, hopefully I should be able to factor. If I can't factor it, then I can't solve by factoring, obviously.
X plus 3, x minus 3.
And if I do that, then I'm not going to have a middle term. So I think it's going to be minus 3, minus 3. This is another case where we talk about that double root. So remember when we talked earlier in the past in section 6.2 where we graphed an equation and see here, and the equation just touched the x-axis?
Yeah.
This is that case right here. Okay, when we solve it by factoring, this is what happens. You have a double root. So no matter what, you solve either one of these. You know, x minus 3 is equal to 0, or x minus 3 equals 0. Well, no matter what, you're going to get x is equal to 3. Okay, what that means is when you approach equations like this and solve that, then you should automatically relate this work with a problem or a graph that looks like this. Okay? Because that's what happens. This is called a double root. The vertex lies or lands on the x-axis. Okay? So it's a good point right there. It's a double solution. They have a little something in your book on the right-hand column that kind of explains what more depth what a double root is, but that's a pretty good explanation right there too. So. All right. She's being correct.
Thank you. See, I'm incorrect.
Correct is that's the first phrase, isn't it?